The study, which was conducted in some countries within sub-Saharan Africa, particularly Zambia, Guinea and Sierra Leone, revealed that although the advent of mobile phones has helped improve the penetration of digital financial services to rural areas, the youth and women in such areas can still not access affordable financial services. According to the Africa Center for Economic Transformation, financial service providers must develop products that can be easily accessed by the youth and women in such areas. ACET also says government financial inclusion strategy of increasing rural participation in the financial sector can best be implemented if taxes imposed on the importation of critical digital items are reduced.
The majority of the most vulnerable groups are in the rural areas, and access to financial inclusion in the rural areas is much weaker than in the urban areas. And this is where public policy and regulations are critical in order to create the right incentives and environment to attract private sector actors into the rural areas. You know, the brick and mortar type of banking is already beginning to become a dead issue. It's a dinosaur. And we need to look at digital revolution that is helping to increase access to financial inclusion in the areas. And the digital technologies, the whole issue of smartphones. You know, up till now, there's still a lot of people are using feature phones that do not offer enough capability to be able to really operate within the mobile banking system. So with smartphones, it's going to be easy. Well, I mean, this is a private sector issue. The question is, how do you create the right incentives for the private sector to operate in this area and to create the kinds of equipment and mobility that is required to ensure that smartphones are available at affordable prices. You know, I mean, if you're going to focus on the high-end smartphones, you never get anywhere. So I think a lot of the digital innovations and mobile banking is also looking at how you can provide reasonably good smartphones at cheaper rates for people. You know, and there are so many mechanisms that can be adapted in order to ensure that happens. Yeah.
The findings of the research was presented to stakeholders, including policymakers and academia from various African countries. The center also urged government to reduce the requirements for accessing banking services.
You know, the issues of collateralization is important, but more importantly, how do you ensure that you can offer the women in the most vulnerable group some access to financing with much less requirements, stringent requirements that they're not able to afford. You know, so I think that's where the governments are moving to, and I think the Ghanaian government and the central bank are exploring those opportunities to ensure that you could ease the KYC, the know your client type requirements,